Boom.
Boom.
I hope I turn it on again.
And we are live on Instagram.
Alrighty, so 3, 2, 1 seconds silent. Hello guys, my name is Nelson,
My name is Bruno Melo.
and today we have one special guest that are visiting us for the first time into the second season on our Agile talk show. What's her name?
Natalia Manha.
Natalia? Where are you,
Join
Natalia?
us.
Oh,
Join us.
Hey
yeah.
guys, hello.
Super cool idea, man.
You like it.
I like it, yeah.
So Natalia, it is one of the person that I met during this journey learning Agile. She used to be and still being one of my references in terms of motivation, trying always to seek new ways of doing practices, books that she read. She recently she was in the United States doing some presentations for big people, and now she are in a new company which we desire like good lucky. But one of the topics that she used to talk a lot it is remote teams, which is one of the things that myself and Bruno we are always talking about.
Certainly.
Yeah, that we think that remote team does not work. Some people think that
well,
works. So Natalia will share a little bit about the experiences and a little bit about how it works dealing with remote teams. So I'm not
Right.
sure if you want to say something before we pass
Yeah,
through.
yeah, sure. I want to say, of course, thank you, Nachi, for joining us and also for suggesting such a interesting topic because actually, originally, Natalia is very well known. She used to work for IBM, so that's how we met her. And she was really well known about her Kanban passion and skills. She also would joined what's the name of the guy? She joined in an interview with one of the Kanban gurus from Brazil a couple months ago to talk about implementing Kanban in a big company. So I said, hey, Nati, let's talk about Kanban. And she was like, no, I want to talk about this, like remote teams. I was like, whoa, that's cool. And I was like amazed about, she is so known about something, but she's willing to let that go. So that shows courage as well. And, you know, her desire to explore new ground. So that's how we see her. She was always involved in she was always involved in everything here known as a reference. So I met her because of her passion and I met her because of Nelson as well. And it's not possible if you are an agile believer in IBM. If you are, it's impossible not to know her at that time, and that's why she's now building other things somewhere else. But she's great. Thanks, Nati. I'm really happy that you joined us. And yeah, remote teams, man. Let's see what that is about because I'm currently working a distributed team, so that's one thing that I want to talk about the difference between those two. And it's difficult, very difficult because I personally am a hugger, and I believe hugs can help us build relationships. But how can you hug someone that is far away?
Tell us.
Let's pass it over to
Oh
her.
my god. It is really great to be here visiting you and you guys and hear all this presentation. It's really good to hear from you the work that you are doing there in IBM with the Agile Talk Show and all the trainings. It's very good to. It's nice to know that I was part of this, and I will continue to help when I can because we have the the link off in Campinas. This is to keep going this movement in the city. So I don't want to lose this contact with you. Really great to be here.
Awesome.
Cool. So tell us a little bit more about your experiences dealing with the remote teams. As Bruno said, you went to a different path, like a different topic, which is different that you know more, which is Kanban. So tell us a little bit your experiences dealing with remote teams, if you will.
Yes. Well, I started working in IBM 10 years ago, and in the 10 years that I was there, I always worked with distributed teams. I never had a collocated team. Wow. So I think this is really important there in IBM. That's why I proposed this team. I know there is a lot going on Kanban, but it's always a question anywhere you go. But how do I do all this agile practice in a remote team? This is a challenge for any company, and especially a global company where you have people from Canada, United States, China, and India, and you can go on. It's very important to talk about it. And I would like to start with a question to you too, so we can think about this together.
Nice.
When you think about virtual experience in games and movies, what comes to your mind?
Virtual experience in games and movies.
Yes.
When you're playing or you're watching, you mean?
When you're playing, and when you're watching a 3D movie, what's all about the virtual experience?
Oh, a 3D movie.
No, movies itself, like
any kind of movie.
3D movies, 4D movies, and video games. When you have simulation, have you ever stopped to think about the virtual experience that we are having inside movies and games that's different from what we had before?
Well, for games, I can tell you that I don't have too much patience, so I try to go fast, and so that's my experience. I'm just trying to connect with remote teams, but once you asking me, I don't have too much patience.
I guess she's asking 3D games as well.
3D games? Well, I don't play.
Like virtual reality stuff like that? Okay.
Yes.
I personally, movies in the cinema, in the theater, I don't like 3D movies because of the glasses suck. They're bad. They're really bad. But I believe if the glasses were better, it would be an interesting experience. Virtual reality games are awesome. They are the next. They are over this next kind of tech and
entertainment.
But
games.
I was thinking about this week because I'm following this guy playing horror video games on YouTube, and I would never play a horror video game with a virtual reality mask. So by saying that, it says the experience itself, it's too powerful, it's too close to reality. And if you think about the quality of the games, it's too real right now, man.
Yeah, but
so I guess it's a great question.
Yeah, I cannot answer that because maybe first of all because I don't do 3Ds and 4Ds movies and I don't play. So also because I had I don't know how to say that in English, but I get dizzy when I get into simulators, so I don't do it. So.
Surreal for me.
It's surreal.
Go ahead.
I asked this question because I want to call attention from all teams and managers about simulating presence. We have a lot of teams that work remotely with people from everywhere, and they want to make it work through mails and telephone. And for us to make it work, we need to start thinking about simulate presence. All the engagement that we have with physical Kanban and with the teams. As Bruno said, I want to hug people. I want to motivate teams. Motivate people. Why do we think we can do this with mails and telephone?
Yeah.
We want to. We do this in video games and movies and things like that, we want to simulate that people is inside, a word. I can create the word, so I want to make people feel that they are inside it. It's the same with the teams. We want to create a place where everyone can be together. And so the key for great virtual teams, remote teams, is to simulate this presence, make the teams be together, like we are doing this here together. I'm not with you guys, but we are simulating this. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
It's interesting.
I do, and
It's
I think that
interesting.
It is.
and also I'm starting to think because maybe I had similar journey as Natalia towards working with distributed teams along the years, and now it makes sense when you have like remote teams and you have like video like web conferences and you have like tools that allow you to be closer so you can see the movement because the other person when we talk about like technologies, not virtual technology but let's say technology itself like mural you can sponsor us but mural it is the same experience the person have like in front of the computer is the same that I do in here because he's watching my the post-it I'm doing at the same time I'm watching him doing the same so the interaction is the same because we are connected into the same virtual tool
Right.
which is Miro, right?
Right.
But like when you have like one people at the TV and other members in a room the 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 scenario is pretty different when you have everybody in a web conference. Even if you're not on the same site, but you are in different locations, the scenario is the same because the same feelings and expectations it is the same for each one of them. Like
Right.
you're not able to hug, but the same feelings it will be the same for everybody. So that's why sometimes I feel like it works, but it depends of the scenario or maybe the situation, right? Like one single person outside maybe might be bad for the person that is like alone on a web conference. But when everybody's together on a web conference, not at the same side, maybe it will be the same. So I get confused sometimes,
Uh-huh.
when remote teams like with that situation might work, and sometimes when it doesn't work. You know,
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure. I'm
I
not sure if
feel
I make my.
I think I understand her question is like, um, so it's something that forces me out of my comfort zone because I'm in a distributed team right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what her question did to me is okay, instead of complaining and forcing myself to believe that it doesn't work, is accept that it won't work as well, but
Mm-hmm.
there are ways to make it better.
Yes.
And instead of just, okay, it doesn't work, let's not focus on making it better anymore. Keep the mindset of how do we get better and find solutions. So, like perhaps virtual reality is a possible solution. When you said that, I was thinking and listening to you guys. So I was, it took me back to Star Wars. So
Yes,
the
this is.
Jedi Council. So they get together for stand-ups, and they actually sit like if they were sitting in a room, but it's hologram. We don't have the technology now,
Yeah. Yeah. True.
but
Yeah.
perhaps one day we will. And for us to actually get there, we have to test new things. So that's for people watching us. That's Natalia. That's her mindset. Like even us, because we are pretty uncomfortable to people, because we're always trying to make it uncomfortable on purpose. Even us, in a second, she can make us uncomfortable on our own comfort zone because that's what she does. When you think, that's me. When you think you're ahead and doing something disruptive, and you look online and you look anywhere, Nachi is already it's already there. She's already
It's
done that.
always one step
So it's
ahead.
amazing how you can do that, Nachi. I really admire that, and I'm inspired by that. So
So
I will think about virtual reality for my team. I don't
So,
mean-
so I do like now is
Who
my
knows?
turn to make you a question, which is, um, so based on your what you said, you really trust that remote teams, it works, right? So it depends just
Yes.
on the way you treat. Like it's not a phone, it's not emails. So maybe use technology in order to make it closer, to make more close to the reality. It's not the same, but like
Yes, the point is that the discussion is not about having remote teams or not. They are a reality.
okay.
It's
Nice.
not something that's going to happen. It's something that's already here for 10 years at least because it's how long I know them. And so it's how Bruno said, it's about finding better ways to work with them. Today we don't have the holograms like in Star Wars. That's awesome. But we have Miro, we have Zoom, like we are doing here. We have so many tools that we can find. It's not hard to find. They are free. You can use them. So it's about exploring these options and simulate this presence and remote teams. So we can do agile practices, like all the practices that we do with remote, with the collocate teams. We need to start thinking on how to do them, simulate them with the remote teams. It's not about, let me do this with the collocate team and the remote team, I won't do this with them because I can't.
Right.
It's not like this. You need to find ways to put all the team together. And I worked in a team that we formed and worked from scratch in remote. And one of the people that worked there, Bruno, it's Mariana. She worked with you in the last Agile Labs. And, from the start, when we formed the team, the management supported the team to have a place. We would get online at the same time, and we would go to WebEx. That was the tool we were using. And if the manager needed, he would stay all day in WebEx working with the teams, because we needed to set the goals, we need to give teams direction, we need to make clear what we needed from them and how they could get there. So this is what we need. We need to start talking about the way that we manage these teams, and the managers, the team leaders, the iteration managers, or the name you give to them.
Yeah.
They need to be available for the team. They need to be there and set the purpose of the team. Bruno, I think that's amazing how he always say about purpose, the goals, the goal circle, and it's about doing this with remote teams. We talk a lot about agile practices, and we do this with co-located teams, and we forget this when it comes to remote teams. And there is in my blog, virtualteamsmanagement.com, I need to do some,
Merchandise.
yeah, some merchandise. I have 3 articles that are the most accessed, and it's about the 3 best practices for remote teams.
Nice.
I don't usually like to do material like this 3 steps because it's not that easy, but it calls the attention from people, and it's about establishing a social contract. That's about creating the values and the environment for the team. It's about team building. It says about finding a time where everyone is together to work, and we need to work together. We are talking about Agile. And the third one is about the tools. So we can't be cheap when it comes for tools.
Nice.
To remote teams.
Nice.
Tools are not solution, but you need to set a good process. You need to have a good aligned team. But for remote teams, you also need the tools. And the best tools, the right tools for your team.
Totally agree. Yeah, the experience definitely, all going back to your first question, it makes total sense. I think that's the biggest challenge, not having more time together and not having tools that actually work. And you actually remembered me when you talked about that experience with Mariana. I went back to the first squad that was in an agile format, running Scrum, 2015. We spent 4 months distributed. We spent from March to September, 4 people here in Brazil, 5 in Europe, and the rest in US. We were using a different video conferencing tool, but the video was on all day. We had our own room, a TV, and it was awesome. The TV was always there. Someone was always in the TV, and we could see. We had the camera as well, so we could see the whole room, and they could see our room, and that was actually fine. And I forgot, and it goes back to what she just said. If you invest And this is the infrastructure for a remote team, actually a distributed team, that we miss out on because we don't see it as an infrastructure necessary to make it work. It's a great message. You guys stay tuned. Pay attention to your infrastructure.
So Nati, I'm gonna ask you another question because we are always saying about good things, right? So if you don't mind, to just recap some about the historical during this journey, working with the remote teams, what are one thing that were never when like were not going well, and then after you did something like the mode or whatever, just change it because you applied some practice that enable the the team to be more closer, like even being remote. I'm not sure if I was clear with my question, but it is, a bad scenario where you apply something and you were able to do like a showcase, applying a good practice with remote teams.
Okay, this is a good one. This one that I talked about with Mariana was one case that we get the team from scratch. So farming the team, the using agile practices was essential for this, and having the tools because at the time IBM already had the tools for us to do this. Before that, we had an architect team that I run like a remote static session with them. So it was an architect team, a really senior team, and but they needed to have a better view of their process. They were getting stuck in continuous improvement, the continuous improvement part, and the manager wanted, I want my team to get the things that they are going to do, and I want me to start improving because we are architects. We need to do this. And what I did with the team, they were remote. They were not from. I believe they were not from United States. They were Brazil, but they worked as home office. This is something for us to consider because we have home office employees even in Brazil and São Paulo. And so we run a static session. So for those that don't know, static is the system thinking approach to implementing Kanban. So basically, 8 steps for us to, from talking about the purpose of the team. So what's success for the client and doing the fit for purpose. We have a book from Fit for Purpose from David Anderson. That's very good.
Yeah.
And we did this exercise. We mapped the value stream map from the team, and we started to, map which were the pain points, and start doing some action plans with the team from there. And then the team continued itself. But it was very important to bring visibility to the team process. And I believe that we worked at a lot of things like this with teams. Even before, when I had a team that was half in Brazil, half in India, it was really important. The things like having the time with all the team. So it's not so complex, but it's like I said, you need to try find the time with the team. The manager or the leader needs to be available. He needs to be engaged to make this team building, and to apply the agile practices as we apply with the co-located teams, apply them in the remote teams too. So documentation is important. Documenting the decisions, having a Slack, for example, this is something that we did also with the teams that helped a lot. So we had examples of teams that work at third shift, and we started to document everything in Slack so the team could get in the first shift and read everything so they would know what happened, things like that, documenting all the information, documenting the decisions, and having the management engaged. These are some good practices.
Awesome. I'm not sure if you want to.
Yeah, I wanna share and ask. So Nachi, great examples on things that have to be done. Um,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know the password.
Okay.
So I read a definition online when I was doing some research on our topic, and I read a definition online that said the difference between remote teams and distributed teams. So this definition says distributed teams are teams that are never co-located. They never see each other, while remote teams they work most of the time from home, but sometimes like once a week or twice depending on the team, they can actually meet up. So that's the definition that I found, and I think is interesting because the definition that I had for remote teams is
Remote.
the one that is used for distributed teams. I thought that a remote team is a team that never works together in a room, but it's not necessarily true. So I want to see what you guys have seen. If you have seen anything like this, is the only reason why I found it is because I was looking for, okay, just searched remote teams online and came to a post, an article
Hmm.
from a consulting company that said that distributed teams and remote teams are different.
Yeah, because when you shared that with me and I took a chance to just like fast read, I got curious because they assume that remote teams they will see each other, like
Yeah, sometimes
sometimes, like in distributed perhaps they won't.
never.
So my God, to me, remote is remote, and distributed is just because the work is distributed, but doesn't mean they are remote. They might be on site at the same locations in different buildings.
Yeah. Okay.
Because to me,
That's a different definition.
like
Yeah.
I got curious when I saw that.
Maybe the definition for distributed work is different than distributed teams. I don't know.
The dog was saying that distributed is also.
So your dog was answering. What do you think?
Yes, my dog is, trying to participate here. I apologize for
No.
that.
Don't worry.
You know,
Come on.
it's one of the faces of remote working. But the definitions, they are many. Depending on the author that you are
Yeah.
reading, he can give his own, flavor on the definitions.
Yeah.
It also varies a lot when you say it in English and Portuguese, because
True.
for my master degree, I research about distributed teams, and I call it virtual teams. So basically, what I did is on the bibliography research, I have the definition that virtual teams are teams distributed geographically that work mainly by remote technologies.
Nice.
So
It's very different.
yes, so basically they
got
mainly
in shock
use technologies like Zoom and mail and phone to communicate it. It doesn't mean that they need to do this always. They can have times when they are going to meet, and distributed because they can be in different countries or different time zones, for example. So, because these words, it's like a buzzword, you can find a lot of definitions, and
Yeah.
people will say one thing and another thing, and it's very difficult when it comes to define. But, in my research, so I could start, I needed to do some definition. I defined this virtual teams are distributed team that work mainly remote.
Cool.
Awesome.
There's a third way to say it. We have virtual teams, remote teams, and distributed teams. But
Yes.
the main thing that it matters here is we're talking about people that work far from each other. They don't see each other on a daily basis. If they see each other, it's very rare. So that's the challenge, right? But
Yes, that's
yeah,
it.
it's important to make sure people understand. Be careful with the definitions that you read online. Make sure to compare these definitions with other definitions to come to a better conclusion, a safer conclusion, maybe. But I
Yeah,
like
but-
your definition.
Yeah, but also before we close, I think that the key thing that Natalia said, and it is important to just to recap, it is that we need to understand that let's say remote. I'm not sure if I'm gonna say
Yeah,
remote
let's
or
say
distributed,
remote. No,
but
remote.
virtual teams. Okay,
Virtual teams.
so virtual teams, they need to treat them as virtual teams. They
Yeah,
cannot treat them as they are on site.
correct.
And also the same for the virtual teams. They should not treat people on site like collocated, let's say in that way, as they are virtual.
Yeah,
Right. So I think that there is a balance.
yeah,
So, but we need to pay attention because we are talking about remote teams at this topic. That we need to pay attention and look at how we can facilitate, how we can make these people to feel closer, how we can make these people to feel safer where they are. They are in different locations, but they are part of the team. So we need to build up an environment that will feel like a part of the team.
yeah,
Why I'm saying that? Because I'm doing the work that Natalia did some time ago, like building teams from scratch using, uh, web conference tools as collaborative tools, building social contract, defining, the ceremonies, creating a routine that they will be everybody at that room, a link at that time every day, no matter whatever you are, you should be there. So our room will be online, no matter where you are. So trying to build up a safe environment so people can feel they are part of the team, not because you are like 1,000 kilometers away. You are
yeah.
part of the team. You have a
Yeah.
value, you know.
And I think I'm gonna say thank you to you, Nachi, because you really plant a seed in my mind. I'm gonna use that from now on. Sometimes we forget to ask the most important question: is how can we get better? And I forgot. Sometimes I forget. And in this particular case, I'm so anxious and inspired for, by the fact that we can improve and perhaps get a co-located situation, that I'm focusing my energy on that mission, and I forget, okay, that mission is, it's what we want, but not always what we will have. So remember, you can always improve what you have, and be strong, and try to be as strong as you can, to always remember to ask the question, how can we make that better? If it's not working, it's not only about process, not only about the product or the code or the ticket or the whatever. Sometimes it's about the web conferencing tool. Sometimes about the chat that you're using, and sometimes it's about that. How can we make our virtual experience make a difference? So that's a great message,
Yeah.
Nathan.
And I would like to propose you a challenge because you're
Oh
so
my God.
creative. But if we can feel a smile through the phone, how can we make people virtually feel your hug?
Damn.
If you want so much to hug people, how do you make
Nice.
people, the distributed team, feel
Ooh.
influenced by, your motivation, the things that you do?
I know, I have an idea. Okay, first idea. So I think everyone in the virtual team should have an Elmo. And when you're feeling down, everyone can hug the Elmo and feel like, okay, hug the Elmo now. So the
Yeah,
Elmo will
pretend
be,
that it's the team and hug it. Okay,
exactly,
that's one idea.
but you have to do that online. So, okay, this is Bruno's hug. Great challenge.
Feel it, right?
Yeah,
Great challenge.
I am on silence because in silence. I'm sorry because I'm thinking, and a lot of things that just came into my head, but I cannot say in here. But I will think about it.
Yeah, me too. Great challenge. And everyone at home on Instagram watching us, following us, that the challenge is also for all of you. And of course, whenever you can, share with us your ideas for solving this challenge. We will share Natalia's information from LinkedIn, some
Oh,
of the
Steve.
books. Yeah, Steve is there. Some of the books that she mentioned as well, and 3 steps to making your virtual experience better.
All righty.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we have our coach Steve Krago watching us on Instagram. Thank you for joining, Steve. Say hi to him, Natalia. Hi, Steve.
Hello, Steve. Nice to see you. He was in Instagram. He just commented one of my posts on Management 3.0 book. It's bad that I won't be there to know him. Maybe you should take him, in coffee or something in Campinas, so I can know him too when he's in Brazil.
Okay, I will tell you.
We'll try to do that. Let's try to get people together.
Between March 12 until
19.
March 23rd, go to São Paulo. We're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The trainings will be held in Tutoia, so it's not that far from your location. Maybe you can stay a bit longer at night. Join us for an Agile beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's done. It's defined. I'll be there.
Awesome. You see, something else for us to do, and more opportunities for us to exchange information and knowledge,
Yeah.
and have fun.
Alrighty,
Man,
so
I was not expecting this, Nati.
thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. I miss you even more, and I'm sure Mariana, your dearest friend, she always mentions you on our labs. I'm always missing you as well. Thank you for the inspiration, for the time, for sharing your knowledge. Not everyone does that. We appreciate it.
Thank you too. I miss you too, guys. We need to meet more. It was a really great pleasure to participate here in the Agile Talk Show.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, so if you like this episode, please like. If you didn't, comment. We are always, as Bruno said, how we can get better. So we count on you.
Yeah, and connect with Natalia. You'll see the great posts that she shares, her way of thought. Connect with her. You're not gonna regret it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
See you on the next episode. Remote teams work.